so today we're gonna go straight into some chokes. We're gonna use lapels. We're gonna use ours, we're gonna use theirs, all right? So one of the things we can start doing, especially since we're working in the gi, it's no gi season because it's hot. So take your time with this gi stuff, let's use it. We're gonna be using his lapel here. We're gonna be using our lapel. Now depending on which side, if his head were the other way, then it would be this top lapel, and that's fine, it comes out nice and easy. If it's the other way, like we're sitting here now, you gotta use your inside one. Either way, you're gonna pull your lapels out, right? What's the key important thing about this is try not to let them know what you're doing for as long as you're trying to accomplish it, because once he realizes what's happening, he'll start to mount the defense. Now, if he doesn't realize it soon enough, it gets kind of tough for him. Okay, so let us start with lapels. We'll use his. Okay, I come in, let's say I've made it to side control and we're here. Now, depending on how he tries to defend the side control, if he brings his arm in front, he's actually gonna help us to a degree, right? So let's say my hand's under his head, I'm coming in here like this. One of the things I wanna do is I wanna get to his lapel, even if it's tucked in his belt. Right? So I'm coming in. Don't sacrifice your position going for this. All right? If you feel like he's pushing you and he's working you, then you need to come in, drop your weight in, let him carry your weight for a while. Let him get to the point where he's not quite desperation, but he's willing to put himself in a little danger to get out of these positions, okay? Unless it's readily available, you don't want to, like I said, you don't want to foreshadow what you're doing, because once you show him your hand, he knows what you're going for. He'll be extra defensive, right? So we're here, boom, pull his arm in, maybe I'm going for this. Here, he doesn't want it. What I'm doing at this point is I'm covering his head, right? When you're beginning out, be careful having both arms on both sides, right? You want to be either here or here, but I also want to cover his eyes so he can't see what I'm doing, right? So that's either I take care of that via stepping forward, coming like this a little bit, then I can get his lapel out. I want to take his lapel and pull it straight out to get as much slack on it as I can get as I pull him in here, right? Now, he's going to hold on to that arm. I can leave this out here. This is a good control. And actually, if I hold this here, if he were to try to turn into me, go ahead and try to bridge into me. It helps anchor him down. How you want to hold it this way? I like this way when I'm in this position because it gives me more of a pushing force that way, and I'm here. Now, he maybe try to do that, he may not. Eventually, he's gonna try to bring his hand in front of my face, right? Because he either wants to come here to bridge me, go ahead and bridge, and we can hold him down, or he wants to frame under my neck. All of these are great, right? Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this, okay? Now, we sneakily got this lapel out. In this position, I really wanna put my arm back under his head, right? So I want to get this back here and come underneath, because this is how I'm gonna anchor it down. Now, see how he's holding my head down? This is his way of keeping me from being able to trap that arm, okay? Doesn't mean this isn't useful. Doesn't mean if I go here, it still doesn't help me. Just not what I want. So I wait, trying to come in, I put a little pressure on him and do whatever. He finally decides he wants to put that frame in front of my face. As he brings it in, I'm gonna drop it, and I'm gonna bring this up, right? Notice he's flaring his elbow out. He doesn't want this arm to come down. Once their arm comes down enough, can your arm come down? Not much. Okay. We come down here, we're gonna take this and come over it, right? Let me switch for CJ. Come here, CJ. Yeah. Matt's got some elbow things he's getting ready to get fixed.
That particular one too.
Yeah. So I come in here, I'm with CJ, I've covered his face, I pull this out, CJ's holding my head, he comes in front, boom. As soon as that happens, I bring this over. Now, I don't want this down by his elbow, because then he can kind of straighten it out. And I don't want it super up by his hand, he can pop his hand out. I want it about 1 inch from his wrist, here. So now, go ahead and get your arm out. There you go. And we keep this tight. Let's talk about something real quick. With Matt, his elbows don't bend as much as CJ's do, right? So, with Matt, you saw how I was barely able to get to there to get it. With CJ, I gotta pull it all the way down to there. Anything less than that, CJ's getting his arm out, right? He's finding a way, okay? Go as far as they'll let you pull it in tight, get it nice and tight. We're back here. Boom, we got this here. So we have a situation here, okay? I can do a couple things. One thing I can do from here is now I can pop up and head up to a triangle. Clear that arm. This is all day. I step over, letting go, and I can lock in my triangle. Or I can come up here and do a mounted armbar. That was from the control. Another thing I can do is I can come underneath here, and I've got this. I loosen it up and let him get his hand out. Boom. Because now what I'm gonna do is I'm bringing my hand in, I'm gonna pull this up tight, and I'm gonna turn and go the other way. Pulling it tight to you. If I try to do this from this distance, it doesn't finish. His head comes out. But I get underneath here, and look, I got plenty of space. My hips are tight. Pull him up into me. Good.
I'm getting ready.
He's getting ready. Okay. Get tight. Pull him up tight. There's not a lot of place for him to go, and I start putting my head on the other side. Now, pull my elbows, just bringing him close to me. All right? So, let's start with this first one. We're gonna get underneath. Even if he's here, that's fine. You wanna work this. I like to get this deep control so he can't see. I pull his lapel out, and I can just hold on to it from here. Notice I don't let his arm go back in. Saw how I brought this down? I do this. What is this telling CJ? This is telling him I want this arm out, right? So what does that make him want to do? Put it in. So as he's here, and I'm stopping it, because no, I want the straight arm bar. Oh man, yeah. And then he gets his hand in, boom. I throw it over, nice and tight. There's no give here. Boom, right? Unless I start loosening it up to get his arm out, keep this slippery fella close. My hand's coming up here, waiting and ready, and I loosen it up. CJ gets his arm out. Boom, I'm here. Notice his hand was ready, it was waiting. Boom, I get here. Look at my legs and my hips. I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm here. My hips are coming forward. Once I get here, I pull him up nice and tight. I lean front ways, and then I start to turn. Go ahead, once I get here, CJ, I want you to try to escape this. Go ahead. Just holding on to that. I put my head down, I pulled him in tight. Expect them to do that, because they're feeling it. They're gonna start fighting at you. I didn't rotate to make the turn. Why? Because he's bumping and bridging. If I would have rotated, he would have pushed me that way. He'd have come up on his side and escaped. So grab it, pull him in tight, hold it down, right? When I was here, had his arm trapped, I put everything in here like this on his chest, and I'm pulling everything tight. As he's bridging and moving around, right? I'm kind of pulling more on that neck, making it more tight. Just sticking with him. The whole time he's doing that, he's getting tighter, right? Yeah, and he's wearing himself out. So if eventually we get here and it's super tight and he just stops, I can start leaning for that finish. But don't do it when they're bumping and moving. It's actually a very strong position. Have them pulled up in there, okay? Now, I'm a lot bigger than CJ, so work with your training partners. Tell them, say, hey, I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna hold it, I want you to escape. If they can like bridge you over and throw you, let's talk about it, see what's going on, see what we need to adjust, okay? But if you come in heavy, pulling them up into your lap almost, while you lay your chest on their chest, it's gonna be difficult for them, right? And so you can go ahead and work with that. Any questions? All right, so we're gonna work that one, and we're gonna work the one where we just trap it and go to that either chop arm bar or triangle. If you're not cool with the triangle, not really fundamentally sound with it, just step your leg over, bring your knees together, go for that mounted arm bar. Any questions? All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. try to get around his head if you can. Try to start with your arm around his head. It's like a traditional side.
About the, hopefully if we're running for a while, it's
No, here you go. So I wouldn't push him on his side just yet, because that makes his head look that way. Now back your head up towards his head. Now he can't see what you're doing, right? So you're kind of hiding him.
come in here.
Now point straight out, and you're just going to feed it to your other hand, and you're going to go there. I would go underneath his arm at first. Under his arm. There you go. And just grab it. Doesn't have to be super like tight just yet.
Go back.
You're going to want to put it over, right? So.
Trying to get my elbows, because like up here, it's
Now
not
it's
so bad, it's hard for you,
Put your arm across
like
the
yours
neck.
are doing. But if you're like,
Now,
bring your pressure right here. There's a boulder. Yeah, you can now my arm is just fucking jiggling.
As I make the switch from here to front to left.
so now you can sit up, put your hand on his elbow and step over that arm. So if it's the other way, right here, that leg is good. Now grab that leg right where you at. That arm's grab it.
They're gonna go right here. You let go, you're ready to push over.
Now you're just going to put your left hand over his arm, just so it doesn't come out. And step over.
Because I can run
Straight up, bar. Face me, face me.
and then as you run outwardly, so we're gonna get more slack. Put that mouse out to your side.
Yep, there we go. This one's going to go.
And so through here, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wild with a I gotta remember some of these frames.
Or you can do triangle.
Right. Yeah. What's hard is our bars with strong are high risk. And arm stuff, they're good. My knees barely work.
We have an overhand on this. Here. Put his head up like that. And just go straight.
See how that kind of, you need your hands to that triangle.
And in triangle, so you can stay right there and breathe and roll onto your back. Just finish triangle. Either one can do that.
Yeah, like having that key is really good.
You can actually, if you're going to come up and do the mounted, you can actually take your other hand and reinforce it by pushing on his wrist.
This one?
Yeah, you can just, I would push on his chest. No, push his hand. Like now as you sit up, you can bring that leg up. As long as you can clear his legs, you can go straight over.
My knees don't work.
Is his arm
My knees barely work for a triangle.
no, you're good. So if you're here, then just actually just look at me, turn your hips towards me. Nice, and just walk that leg over. That left leg. Walk it over his head. And you can just stay there. Yep. Or go for the triangle. But work that second one. Work that second.
Okay.
So get nice and safe. You get nice little base. Now what I want you to do is this. Grab that. I want you to do this. Roll with that in your hips. So, but you want him to
Same movements. So this time you're gonna let me get my cross face out.
not yet. Both elbows to the
It'll probably be here. You're leaning, good pressure.
Try to get out of that.
Because this sucks.
Try to bridge and get away.
You're gonna smash my arm to the ground.
Work hard. Get out of that. Don't let him get that to you. Now start to squeeze the parts of that TK collar. Let your chest right in.
So basically, what it would be is you're leaning back, and I'm fighting this.
So
Right? So you got it with one hand and the other.
once I come here and I get this,
Bring your hips all the way into me. Start working your elbows to your hips. And turn south.
armpit. So as Matt starts moving to get away, I just put
I didn't have the.
He snugged them up.
it's already
At first there was, but once you pushed your elbows down, there was pressure. Like I wouldn't tap if it was a flat show. Same drill.
I don't elbow to the back wall.
My base stays. Ooh, hand in. So before you do here's what I want you to do. I want you to take that.
Can you do it like incremental little ratchet?
You want to clear this arm. You don't want that arm in the way. So you want this to here. So here's what I want you to grab. Take him. Come here. Drop your chest in on his chest. And I want you to take this right arm, and I want you to stay heavy and pull back as he tries to escape. Try to escape more. Keep fighting. Fighting. Follow him if you need to. Pull that right arm back more, but just stay based. I want you to just keep it tight. When he pauses, don't move your knees, move your head over his hips. Pull that right arm more and more and more and more. Now you can let go. You can bring your head to the other hip. Things happen.
It was getting tighter.
It was getting tighter? Yeah.
As I'm moving, I'm messing myself up.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal here. So I come in, right, and I want this arm cleared. So as I get here, the first thing I do, right, is I get here. First thing I do is I bring him up tight. This can go here to calm him down. That elbow, weight on that elbow, really sucks. Yeah, right in that notch. Boom. What I want to do is I want to drop his arm like this, and I'm here. My left hand doesn't do much. It's an anchor for the moment. This one pull, yeah, he's like, so this one's here, watch. So as Marty tries to fight, I pull it back even more. Sorry, Joe.
It's just going there.
It's going, yeah, it's a slow burn, right?
Even if I come this way.
Oh, if you went that way, you weren't supposed to guess what happens, right? Notice my hips didn't, watch, go ahead and do it again. What it does is it allows me to use this way, because it can only go so far now, but if I turn, it can go farther. It's all here, but in that same when I turn my head and shoulders, this one starts to choke. But that's an anchor. This one's here. The whole time I put my forehead down here, as he's bridging moving, and I'm kind of sliding with him, the whole time keeping good pressure. Then, when I can, I bring my head here. Let it ride it out. This here, if they get too swirly, you feel like you might be losing it, if you throw that elbow in the diaphragm, right there, it'll slow it down a little bit. You feel like you want to fight? Yeah, I want to punch you so much. But yeah, give that a shot. That sucks. Yeah.
It's hot like this. We're here.
There you go. Don't turn your over. There it is.
Cross you to get you away. No, you're not. Free. Sorry. So that open palm grab. Do that diaphragm.
You guys should?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very tight. It feels almost like Darce. Weird. Move up there. Oh yeah, it's awful.
Take this one next to his body. Then I want you to scoot this way towards him as hard as you can.
Just that diaphragm. Mean nice. Oh, dude, that sucks. There's guys like, I'm also 42, so my gas tank's not where it used to be, but there's guys here who they have such long arms, they can do that when they're in half jump. Just like, fuck, I'm about to die just from being uncomfortable and overheating. Yeah, that's rough.
You can do this. You don't have to pull the arm. You can push through here. It's perfectly timed. Right?
Is this arm like this? I guess it could be either way. Like you would typically you'd be around my head, kind of holding me flat to you for a little while. I think you got free of that arm when you stepped back.
Just there. Bring this thing close.
Here, always friend on friend. I have two goals when I'm on the side for one is the shear and let you kind of get some of the into that.
This is right now. Stop being squirrely.
You would probably
Get
down in there because you can almost wrist lock.
This arm stays where it's at. Backwards. As he starts to fight, pull it back and out. All the way. His chest. Yes. Your head down, get up, to your hip back, left, right. It is.
I'm screwed.
Slow burn. When he calms down,
That note is
finish
Hold
this,
on,
bring your
yeah.
head to the side.
That's a
Your body. Hold it tight, 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 tight. Stay with the arm. Okay. So if the way this is working rather than hit that arm under, I can now use that under the head pressure. Come in, push it here, head it down. I'm right now here. The arm is here, my feet are, my legs are here, my knees are crossed, my legs are on top of the arm. Now I can pull on one, I can stretch out and flatten my hips more so that way they can't toss me over and squirrel in here. They have to escape completely backward or out because I'm under a 90 degree. Now, if I make a mistake, and I have to get a 90 degree because of their arm. If I lose concentration on their arm, I go this way, back towards my head. And then whenever I go this way, they can grab back to my degrees. So as long as I'm staying 90 degrees, they have to make a huge step to try to grab this leg to bring it back to it. Yeah, that's what I want. Almost tight the arm when you're holding the arm behind the head. You now smaller, get back.
I just didn't travel. All their
All right, guys, let's circle back up. You can always go back and try this in a second if you didn't quite finish getting it. Some of the details. When we were here, we pull them up tight. I want like up on their side a little bit. This hand that's behind the head is in the beginning an anchor hand. It just stays there, holds everything tight. This is gonna be our choking pivotal arm. That elbow sits in the sternum to calm them down. When you can, drop it in their armpit. You keep pulling his back incrementally as you go. Your head and everything keeps the pressure on the opposite arm. When he turns to roll you that way, because that's the only way he's really gonna have a chance to roll you, how did it feel? It makes it worse, because you open your neck up to roll that way and I just pull harder. So now you're basically trying to bridge the entire weight of my body while you're pulling at it with the thing on your neck and the choking and you're not breathing in blood and all that. So there's all that action. Now, it should feel, like we talked about, he said, it feels like it's almost choking me in just the position. So that when you go to move your head and shoulders, not your whole body, but just your head and shoulders, at that point you should be able to start getting the tap from that. If you can, at some point you can bring your head all the way to the mat, but if you have really good positioning and they also, while they're trying to escape, what are they doing? They're burning the energy, gas themselves out, and they're being choked. So it's patience, holding on, making sure that you're in a good position and bounce, right? So once you get that down, that'll work. So let's talk about using our own lapel, all right? I can use no elbowy stuff on this. This one you guys might have seen, very similar, except I'm just gonna use my lapel. So, come in, underneath, nice and controlled. I may do this stuff. I'm here nice and tight. He doesn't see what's happening. Oh gosh, we took this in. Keeping this here. So, there's a couple ways people will do this. People will hold this out, try to pass it off to their hand. Now, that works, and a lot of people do that. Unfortunately, if he knows what's up, his hand's gonna stop. So people will do something that others feel is unhygienic. Some of us are like, you know what? Glory costs, and this is the price I will pay for glory. It's here. When I'm here, it's not in there, I'm rolling with him. Boom. Now I'm here. This control, there's a lot. One thing that we can do is kind of what we just did. If I can swing my hand in, and I bring my thumb into my own lapel, what does this look like? Well, we just got finished doing, right? I'm here with him. I don't want to sit here because my hands are trapped, because he can bridge and roll me over from here, right? If he just hugs down on me from here and decides to roll, I'm done and I look stupid. But, go ahead and bridge and roll me to your left. Oh, oh no, I'm being bridged and rolled. And as soon as he sits up, go ahead. Yes. No. Going for that baseball choke. Why would I want to do that from bottom? Don't. Because there's a good chance he's going to stop that, block that. I'm going to be looking silly. Now he's going to crush me and hurt my feelings. So, my preference is I come in, I get heavy, I'm acting like I want this arm. Lapel comes out. Here. Here, swing my hand in. Boom, I get here. I just pull him up and we go through the same thing we just went over. Right? Go through the same way. Or we get here, right? Hand comes to the opposite side, blocking the hip. I can turn, look the other way, and you can get the choke. If your lapel is loose, right? And this arm has to be trapped. For this, by the way, everybody, you have to have this arm trapped. You can do, if you're grabbing down here, there's a lot of slack. You obviously have to do something to take all the slack out to get the choke, right? The tighter it is, the less you're gonna have to move. If I'm down here, and it's super lax, then I'm gonna have to go. And if it's super lax, you can go over your shoulder. Sometimes you can get smaller folks, you can roll over your shoulder into the rolling, is this a samurai choke? They have names for everything. Razor, samurai. Samurai's razor.
You have to get a little more out of it, take your left foot, left knee and kind of come over here.
You can, I can. He was asking me, do I ever bring the leg over? Me, I don't necessarily do that. I feel like that opens me up for some opportunities for them to do something. I think the less I do, or the less moving parts, or the more I can keep you controlled, I think the better off it is. So for me, and this is just my take on it, if I come here and I step this leg up, I might be able to get here and do this, but if I'm with a strong guy, right, go ahead and just pull, right? So if he starts coming up, if he gets this far and scoops my ankle, pull that ankle, yeah. And he starts pulling me back, yeah. I'm not saying everybody's gonna do that. I'm not saying everybody can do that. I feel like when I do that, I give them the opportunity back. Oh, just the knee?
Kneel down.
Kneel on the other side? You can. I feel like, for me, and let's give it a shot. So, I'm here, and you put your knee on the other side? Yeah. Boom.
Just like kneel down on the side of my head.
Like that.
Get yourself a little more.
Straight?
Get yourself a little more. Like that.
Yeah, get a little more leverage.
A little more leverage.
Yes.
Sometimes I feel
You
like
can.
I lose, like you said, I might have got a loose grip or a big knee or whatever.
Mhm.
I might come a little more throw at it.
So for me, what I would do in that scenario is if I felt like I needed some, well, if you need some more, why would you need more? Slack. He's got slack. Not necessarily a mistake. Look at all this slack that's here. So if I'm gonna do this move, and I'll call this mid-lapel grip, right? And I keep my knee on that side of your head.
Maybe it's because this arm wouldn't be trapped.
If they get their arm out and step over, I got you. So I'm here, and your arm steps out, you can still keep it, yes. That is true. You can do that if you feel like that's in danger. Me, that's a good second if you start to lose this arm. And there's a good chance you may lose that arm, right? Head still comes this way, you straighten everything out to finish the choke. My preference though, is to get here, here. Once I'm here, and I got this arm here, on the other side, I like to scoot in, keeping this knee on this close side of the head. Do you need a little extra? Straighten this arm out, look at that. Yep, I've heard it called that, the fishing wrist. You know, straighten it out like you're fishing, whatever you want to call it. If you get here, let's say this is as loose as it can be, right? You can actually rotate a good bit. Like if it's super loose, if I rotate all the way over, you can do that. All I know is this, the more movements you do and make, the more opportunity there is for a person to find an escape. Bars, don't know if that rhymed, but think about it. That's great. The knee on the other side of the head, if they get their arm free, great. Keeping the knee on this side, great. What are we doing in all these instances? We're maintaining that pressure on the neck and we're not giving them an opportunity to release that pressure. So as you guys play with this, you use your own lapel. Boom. We got options. A nice low grip down here towards the bottom gives you this opportunity. Boom. Or you're gonna finish, but you have to go, 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 go. You might end up here. I've actually seen it where they go boom, and they roll forward with it. Just make sure Possum has the insurance on the gym up to date.
Take this side.
Go across. Yeah, that one too. So you can use either side. This side you can use as well, right? Bring it across. If I get here with him, boom, right? My lapel's out. You can hand it to yourself. This one I find, probably because I have this one pulled so far, you're not gonna really be able to switch the lapel back and forth really easily, because once you pull one, it kind of like gets like this. And you have to. So if you get this one is tough to hide. You're gonna really be, I would use this one in a scarf position, like this. I'd sit here, and then this lapel comes out, boom. Yeah, this is the one where you can roll. You can roll the other one too, you just won't. You have to say something about them at their funeral. This one, rough, just as bad. Same principle. Keep it nice and tight, and you can drop in, make it tight, fish the wrist. Keep moving. Just keep moving. Beat them to the next place. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Today, let's work the opposite. This, if you're fine with it. If not, slide it through. And let's work this to practice more. Let's work the sitting up and turning, right? And then we can work variations of stepping over with the head, stuff like that. Okay? Any questions? I'll walk around and have you guys out all three. 1, 2, 3. Sir. Bad part is, in a tournament, they're gonna be screaming, "He's biting his gi! Look out for the choke!"
Yeah. I noticed what it is, Eric. Because I'm letting that arm out all the time. So that's why I'm always like, oh.
Yeah, if you keep that arm, trapped.
And then I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Keep the arm trapped if you can, but still slide that left knee up to the side of his head. Here, right? So start.
Same one we were
turn your
doing.
head.
Pull. Yeah, his elbows would
Turn,
pull.
rotate, and stick this knee straight to the shoulder.
This first
Now
one.
start dropping this left back as you start going in.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was. I was like, I always need to step over.
But you adjust it. You
I'm letting this out.
if that arm kept getting out, you're like, all right, I'll adjust.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I keep the head still.
There you go. Now pull him up into your lap. There you go. Now drop your head to his armpit there. And just stay heavy and pull. While he tries to escape, If you don't, just keep pulling that right arm back.
And then your
Nice. Pull yourself in.
forehead needs to go to
So
my-
as he goes to leave
my-
and you're staying tight,
My knees closest to your body, your forehead and your toes.
and then drop your head to the other side. Okay, he's turning away from you. Now bring your head to the other side, Marty. Adjust your head and shoulders. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Nice. So what happens is when they're there trying to buck and bridge you, and move you out of the way, what you need to do is this. Every time he bucks, the slicing arm, we'll call it the slicing arm, it needs to come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. Bump around.
And so me, I take my
Keeping that one tight. The other one is not necessarily the end.
Then I feed because now my head is taking what my arm is doing. Yeah. And now I can just put my mouth and they can't see it. No. No, like brother, boom. See how they naturally do that? You bring. Do that once.
So you can always.
And then forehead to the mat on the outside.
The one like you did the other time, just with yours.
Yes.
Pulling it together. So do me a favor.
That's where all the pressure goes. Now I know what you mean. Like, when we were first doing it, you were doing this, as soon as you went here, taking your heel like down on the ground. I was trying to understand it from that point. So here,
My elbow was like
you had it
far out
flared,
here.
and you were like resting in there. This was just like you didn't even have to hold it. It was clamped down. So you see that works for me.
Pull that elbow back to gives it more space. Over here. Try to get this out with you drop this elbow back. Now turn your head. Turning short. Pull in with that elbow, pull to your right elbow in.
That's how most of them are. I went up with I got the baseball bat from
Sundress.
Alright, so we would
So it's like this.
same feet.
right. Okay.
Right. But back like this. The other one is suck the palm up, and then we're doing it. Turn it and tighten it. And we turn our hand.
Okay.
As soon as you pick it up,
Yeah, it's weird. It's like those 2 pointers he gave about getting the head here and getting the elbow in here. That's huge because the first time I did it to you, I was just
So my arm needs to be
I'll drop that hip down, and I'll lean forward.
and then now we're in this. You can stay stagnant back and spins. Follow the
This hip. Take your right arm to the other hip. Drop it on the mat. Just put your hand on it. Yeah.
You know what's cool too?
Now, if you need to, it doesn't start.
If I'm blocking his hip, if I'm heavy
There,
on you,
extend your head.
I don't even have to lean up to pick this up. There's no way. Like, this feels normal for me to be doing this to you.
There's no way.
That's where it'll happen.
very tickly.
Somebody has this too,
Yeah. So see how you have it like that? Grab it and work. So this hand's gonna come very nice and tight.
Head to the hip.
And then drop it to it. Drop it. This one. And I grew up boxing. Swerve when you hear for a second. Calm down, drop it.
Work on once you learn how to get this shoulder and I like to nice and tight. That's a ball solution correctly. You're gonna make them start scramble because it's almost a head and arm drop. While you're doing it, and you don't really feel like you're doing it. It's great, but this is very strong. And you can do it.
Try to escape, pulling that right arm back.
Natural caverns,
Pull that right arm back. Yeah, stay in.
Here's front of my arm and front head on your shoulder. Every time you move under my chest. Okay, we're going on the shoulder.
I got out. Space is trying to make it escape.
Did you do like dinner on bottom or something?
Yeah, I did that and
Okay.
so Steve and all that. Eventually, right there with those guys.
But also good to get out. New life. What you did? I started out in the diving community. Went over to ships and.
Yeah, I was on my
Like 4th year. This is not where I want to stay for a long time.
I did, man. I did 3 deployments. I was on decom mechanics.
Oh yeah, so I did on West Cleveland, which was similar era to Kennedy, had Vietnam era ships. It's fucking awful. Dead in the water like every 2 days. And I was on the Kennedy in 2001 for like a training thing out in Jackson.
Yeah, I was there from 06.
We're seeing
I remember them saying it was getting decom back then. Same with my ship. When I got there, they were like, we're decomming. And by the time I left, they were like, we need this to last at least 10 more years.
That's why with this one, you don't really see it.
I'm not just talking about that.
That was way tighter. Getting that elbow over my ribs. I was resting on your chest and just trying to squeeze.
So he wants space. When I had him, he wanted
He said like use that to make them uncomfortable if they're not letting you pick them up. But once they start to falter, get it over off to the side. That's where all the torque is, I guess.
Yeah, the mechanics make more sense when you feel it.
Oh yeah, that does sound
By
weird.
the time you back up is when you're
I would just pretend like I'm blocking your
Hello or something. Doing baseball, he was saying that
Hey guys, let's watch this real
this
quick.
makes him uncomfortable.
Matt has a very good point. Matt's got a great point. He says what he notices a lot of times is when people do this, especially the one where we're doing that same baseball choke, we get here and the person has done this and they got it. He says to get the second hand in, most of the time people do what? They'll sit up to do this. As they sit up to do this, what happens? Or frames or whatever. And for demonstration purposes, we definitely sit up so you can see it. Here's a tip. But while I'm down. You can even do this. Guess what this means to him? Oh crap. He's trying to put this over, right? Now bring this up. What is Matt gonna, he's gonna scoop that, right? Boom. Once I get through here and I got this, I can come up this way, or I can bring it up. Sorry. Boom. There's the only time I'm going to lift is to drop my elbow, my razor cutting elbow, into his armpit on the same side as my hips, close to me. And that looks like this. This is when I pull him up tight and drop it in. It doesn't have to be very high. It can be a grinding. I can be here. Now I'm here. Then as I bring him closer, I may bring my hips up. It's already choking. But if it's loose, he starts bridging and bucking. I put my head in his shoulder. That helps him from getting, if I don't put my head in his shoulder and I'm like this, go ahead and bridge. Can you bridge it off? Yeah. Look, he gets up on his hip. And this arm comes out. Now go ahead. As he was doing that, when he would come down, I would scurry in a little closer, pull it back a little more. I'd wait for him to bridge, I'd bring it in a little more. When he got tired, I would then start to just look to his hips, giving me the clearance. Because my elbow comes here, but when I turn, I can put a little bit more. Hopefully, at that point, that's all the space you need. Guys, this is a slow burn. This is not one of those you're gonna get the immediate tap. If you do, bravo, compliments to the chef. But expect it to take some time. Use their trying to fight you, putting their fingers in and doing whatever, as an opportunity to just forehead on the opposite shoulder so he can't lean into you. Remember, don't worry if he tries to bridge you the other way. First of all, in order for him to really bridge you the other way, you have to get under your hips to elbow it up, right? So if his hand starts slipping through, you lose it to Matt. You can step up and keep it going, or you would spin around. And we'll show that real fast so you know what it looks like, but we won't drill it because we'll get started on rolling good mid-act. Here, I got here, I pull him up, I start to turn, his arm comes out, I stand up, I bring my head up to the other side. I still keep it, just start walking. That's the old traditional, baseball choke from top, taking the other side. But once again, if we can, let's avoid all the space, let's avoid all the movement, let's keep it nice and tight and controllable. It's not gonna be that way all the time, so when they escape or start to get that head out, that arm out, we know to put our leg over, or just keep walking, right? Don't let your choke go. And if you get good with baseball chokes, people that are good with them, they're just menaces to society. And even if you bridge them over and roll, just like we did in the beginning, they can finish a baseball choke from the bottom, right? So always be mindful, okay? Any questions? Use these lapels, guys. These lapels are here for a reason. They're not just for you to get manipulated and controlled with. If somebody is in a gi and you're in a gi, they got just as many handles as you have. All right? On through the stamp and bow roll. 1, 2, 3.